internet. Welcome to the Traveling Knitter channel. This is the June podcast episode where I talk about the things that I've been making, things I've finished, and things I've purchased. My name is Steph and I live in downtown Columbus, Ohio in the United States. Before I jump into the podcast, I do want to talk really quick about life. It's been a rough summer in the United States from the weather. It has been very, very hot. Ohio lost power, and I do say Ohio because their AEP is a company and they provide much of the power to Ohio, and they had power surge that, caused a lot of power outages, and then they had to force power outage in certain areas. So essentially quite a lot of people did not have power, and it has been a heat wave. And so we were, typically sitting at like 105, 110, 115 degrees. So that wasn't that great. And then we have shootings in this country every day. And we recently had a pretty awful one. I mean, they're all awful, but this one really especially awful because it involved kids. And what's even more awful about it is you can't even say it's the worst one we've had. It's the second worst one we've had. I believe 19 people were killed, and there is still additional investigations happening because the timeline just didn't make sense. And what we're finding is that the police didn't do anything for over an hour, and that allowed the kids to bleed out and die. Well, bleeding out means die, but you get the picture. So that's been awful. And then our Supreme Court, which is part of our government, I know quite a few of my viewers are not based in the US, so you may not have as much awareness to how our government works and all that jazz, but essentially part of our government is the Supreme Court, which are elected for life / retirement by the president. And they struck down Roe v. Wade, which was our constitutional protected right to have the choice of having an abortion. So what does that mean? That means that the allowance of if you can have abortion or not is based on your state. And quite a lot of the states in the United States have trigger laws. So when it's kind of like they're waiting in the wing. So as soon as something happens like this, those laws go into effect. Now, there are different rules for when they go into effect. I live in Ohio, and our quote-unquote trigger law is called the heartbeat bill. And so that means as soon as a heartbeat is detected, you are not allowed to have an abortion. And that will go into effect at the end of July, I believe. So a lot has been on my mind. Just a lot. I don't need you coming into my comments or my DMs or anything, because this is my channel. This is my space. I get to dictate what comments are on here, and I have no problem deleting them if they are rude. So just gonna put it out there. A lot has been on my mind. You feel this like fatigue. Oh, I hate that. This is what happens when your hair's wet and you put it behind your ear. Gross. I've just a lot of fatigue. It came out on Friday in the morning, and I struggled to work the rest of the day, even though the setting was awesome. I went to a brewery, and upstairs they do this like work from home collective. It's separate from the brewery. It's like a company, and you just pay $5. There is coffee, there is water, there is Wi-Fi, and the whole thing is sunny and open and just like happy. And I struggled to get anything done the rest of the day, so I ended up cutting out early. I just stopped working at 3. I was like, I'm not getting anything else done today. I'm just not in the mood. So that's kind of been where I'm at. I have spent a lot of time crafting this month. I've been feeling the feels, but also, I tested positive for COVID at the beginning of this month. Yes, after 2 years and some months, I finally got COVID. I was fine. I wasn't even sick. Wouldn't have even tested myself if my friend hadn't felt sick and then informed the group, hey, I have COVID. And I mean, we hang out constantly. Like, it's rare if we don't see each other more than once a week. So I tested positive, and I was just like, because I had doctor's appointments. So that was kind of annoying because you can't just like push them back a little bit. I had to reschedule by like several months for some of these doctor's appointments, but that did give me a ton of forced time to knit. So let's just jump into the things I've been knitting. I decided to kind of go through project bags that I have had, honestly stacked in a corner of my apartment living room situation, and just, finish some things. And one of the things I finished was this market bag. I don't even know why I decided to make a market bag. I think I was like looking at all of my cotton yarn and thinking, I should make a market bag. So I did, and I actually think it's like really cute. So this is knitted. I feel like a lot of market bags are crocheted, and I just didn't feel like crocheting. So I went with a knitted bag. This was knit on like size 15 US. It used like 1.5 skeins. The pattern says you could make it with 1 skein, but it's one of the really big sugar and cream, Lily's sugar and cream skeins that I did not have. I think it's like 200 grams. So I didn't have that, and I knew I was gonna run out, so I decided to use this like yellow stripe to go in the middle, and then to use that for the handles. I didn't have any solid yellow, or I didn't have anything solid that matched the blue, the white, the green, or the yellow. So I did have to kind of go with the variegated, but I feel like it honestly blends well, and I got the stripe to be pretty centered. So I'm rather pleased. I have not used this yet. I didn't block it. I'm not really sure if I'm going to block it. I don't know. I feel like I'll block it after it gets dirty from being used. This was a free pattern by Lily Sugar and Cream. I printed out the pattern. I don't know if I even favorited it. So I honestly don't know what the pattern was called, but if you just, how did I find it? Knitting market bag free. And if you don't see something like this, maybe even just like select Sugar and Cream, and I think you'll get to it. So I'm actually going to probably put this in my car. I don't know, should I put it in my car or should I leave it inside? Because this is definitely more of like a bag where I'm just like gonna go and grab something really quick. I'm not sure, but either way, finished object, which then got me started on making dishcloths. And now that I'm sitting here, I'm realizing I'm missing some of them. So I made like a Christmassy dishcloth, and then I made this one using the leftover of the red, and then starting with this guy, which I think is cute. These are grandma's dishcloth without the holes. And I made a third one out of some leftover yarn from my outline tank, which was organic cotton. And that one's like super soft. I think I'm gonna keep that in the bathroom as a like wash my face kind of washcloth. These are made out of lily sugar and cream. I did not weigh. I didn't even like do the full pattern. I think you go to 49 stitches. I don't know if I did 49. I'm not sure, but you know, once you start working on it, it's mindless. You know what you're doing. I also made some like scrubbies and I can't find them. I don't know where they are. Maybe they're under my couch or something. But basically you make like a strip like this and then you sew it together like so. And then you whip stitch around like the circumference here, and then you pull it tight, and what it ends up doing is it squishes the ends. Can you like tell? Okay. It like squishes the ends, and then it makes like, this literally looks like a pile of trash. It makes like kind of like this, right? Like a circle scrubby. Don't know how well they work, but I did make two, and I have another one here. And this is the cotton life here. I finished the other pair of my Zauberball Socken, socks, and this is the one that I hadn't finished. I don't love this. I was trying to avoid this. I love how it blended with this one, but this one I couldn't get it. I tried. I really thought that I was gonna be in that darker piece, but no such luck. I was basically in the super light, so it's like a very distinct stripe. But you know what? You're not gonna see that part. That's gonna be in my boot. So I love these. I think they turned out adorable, and yeah, absolutely more Zauberballs in my life. I did 2x2 ribbing. This, I believe, is on a 64 stitch. It's either a 64 or a 60 on size zeros. Pretty sure. And then we have the start of Kay's summer sock camp, which is where you knit as many socks as you can. And I tried to do it last year and I just didn't really stick with it. And this year I'm feeling more inspired, and I finished one pair of socks already. So here they are. This was a sock set that I purchased at Kay's shop in Dayton, Ohio, specifically Centerville, but like right on the corner or on the edge of Miami Township, which is where I used to live. And I actually started my podcast while I lived there. So if you want to go way back, that is when I had very, very short hair. These are a DK sock set that I purchased at Kay's shop in the Gaudy Yarn Co. brand, and the colorway set is Feyre, which I would assume is a Court of Thorns and Roses reference, because I don't know any other characters, literary characters or pop culture characters that are called Feyre. I really liked this pop. I did not have enough yarn to do the heel, but that was okay. I thought this looked great, and I love these. I discovered this pattern 2 years ago, and I was so excited to finally like knit it. It was so fun. I would definitely make this again, and I think I will convert this into a fingering weight pattern and knit it as a fingering weight. That's kind of what that means. The designer of Laid Edges, which is what the pattern is Kelly McPherson. And as I said, it is for DK. And these are my first finished socks and my first entry into the summer sock camp. I knit these on 9-inch circulars size 2, US size 2. And because I did purchase the yarn from Kay's shop, this is 2 entries. My last finished object is my outline tank by Jessie Made Designs. It ended up being bigger than I thought it was going to be, and my my dropped stitches are shifting like to the right, so both the front and the back, I don't know if you can see, but they're not straight. I don't know if maybe my straps are not the same length and that's why. Not really sure. I knit this out of Lion Brand Baby Organic cotton, and I love this yarn. Big fan of this yarn. It is more of a DK weight. The pattern calls for fingering. The colorway is olive, but it's definitely more of like a golden color in my eyes. I knit the size medium, and I was on gauge, but I need to check my gauge since I've worn it a couple times, and I feel like it's definitely like stretching out more and more and more as I wear it. When I knit this again, I wanted a lot of positive ease and just to make it a bit of a bigger fit, but the problem with going a bigger size is the apex of the bust and the straps are just wider, and so the straps are right. So here's my tank top, my straps are here. I'm wearing the Ripple bralette as well, and so my straps are here. With the tank, my straps are essentially on almost the outside of my shoulder, and so they're constantly falling. I cannot just wear this at all. My bralette is like fully here, so it looks really cute. I like really like it. My friend and I, we got tons of compliments when we were wearing our outline tanks. I did block it, but again, I've worn it a few times, and on the straps, I cannot get the drop stitches to stay open. It just like closes, and I think it's just because of it being the cotton DK weight. It's just heavier, and so it's just not staying open, but that's fine. Doesn't bother me very much. I used 2.5 skeins of that yarn. That yarn is around $4 or $5, so very affordable if you want to go this route. I really like it. I will totally make another garment with this, and this is the yarn that I made another washcloth out of. And with that, those are all my completed objects. Now I do have a couple half-finished objects. The first one are my Sprocket Socks. How cute are these? So cute. So the Sprocket Socks are a pattern by Pip and Pin, and the yarn I'm using is Ash and Bumble in the Zinnia Minis collection. So there are 5 colors. They didn't have names, but 2, 3, 5. I wanted the cuff and the heel in the same color, and I ideally wanted the toe, but it didn't end up working out like that, so I'm glad I got the other variegation to be the toe. I did a much shorter like leg than I normally do, so I'm gonna end up with quite a bit of leftovers, and I think it'll be fun because I'll be able to put them in as heels, toes, cuffs on other socks. I am looking for the other sock. I'm on the 3rd color of the leg, and I'm knitting these on 9-inch circulars, size 0, the 60. I will say, the next Sprocket Socks that I make, I'm gonna go up needle sizes. I think I'll still stick with the 60 stitches, but I'm gonna go up the needle size because of the color work section is just tighter than I would like. Like it, you know, it still stretches, but it is a bit tighter. So I will make that change. I'm also not looking forward to weaving in all of these ends, so who knows when I'll get to that part. And the other half object is my second entry into the summer sock camp. And these are just a vanilla sock knit with Scrumptious Pearls yarn. Let me see, do I have the ball band? I'm thinking I don't, which is a bummer. Nope. It is a pretty popular colorway. At least I've seen quite a few people knit it. And the mini that I used is from an advent calendar. Not sure. It's, I think it's probably from Sweet Sparrow, Julie. But I thought it would go well, because it's like a very, very soft peachy plus gray and then very soft blue. So I don't know, I thought it would look good, and I think I'm right. So one sock, I did 60 or 64, I can't remember. Twisted 1x1 rib, knit all the way down, rounded toe, German short row heel, which is my preferred heel. 2 hose, and this one is not very far at all. I've basically just cast on. And I have those together in my Mrs. Brown's bag, one of the first projects bags that I purchased. A non-sock project that I've put in a ton of time, and I'm hoping to still finish this month because technically we still have like 5 more days and I think I can do it. And it is one of my entries. Oh, and this is an entry for the Bloom Baby Bloom cowl. So I'm really hoping to finish the other sock because that ends on July 1st. And this is my other entry. It is the Kindred Cowl by Whimsy North. And I'm using 3 colorways from Birch and Lily. I am using her natural, which is the white, and then terracotta. And then this one is from her new collection, and I don't have the ball bands with me. So I apologize, I don't remember what this one was, but this was from her spring collection. I shouldn't say new because she has a collection coming out like this week. So I just need to knit 7 more inches of this and then graft them together with a twist. And then I'm done. And then I can put this in the Mal entry. I'm very much liking this. I did drop down a needle size for the stock and like the straight in the round knitting compared to the color work. My only thought is that I wish, so you do the pattern, color work pattern repeat 6 times, but then you end not completing the circle because that's the beginning of the pattern. So I had already cut the yarn and I didn't notice it until it was like 6 rounds. And at that point I was like, oh. And then I looked at the pattern to see, did I like mess up? Did it say, you know, knit row 1 again? It doesn't. So I guess the pattern just ends without finishing the circle. So if I could go back, I would finish the circle because it does annoy me a tad. Not enough to rip this all out, but it does annoy me that the circle is not finished. So I am knitting the main color on size 3 and I did the color work on US size 4. I have that project in a Daisy Girl & Company bag that I got at Kay of Crazy Sock Lady, her store. And then the last project that I'm kind of actively working on is a sample knit that I'm knitting for one of my local yarn stores, 614 Studio, and it is the Wonky Rib by Malabrigo in the Arroyo yarn. And it looks like this so far. Look at all those stitch markers. Look at all of them. Bunch of blue Swarovski stitch markers. This is 360 stitches cast on in the round, doing like a bit of like a modified rib. It's fine. It's pretty mindless. I will say I don't love the way this pattern is laid out because there's no chart. And that's what it looks like. It is 40 rounds of basically modified ribbing, and this could have been so simplified by having a chart. So you repeat the 40 rounds twice, and then you do 1 through 20. So you're gonna have a total of 100 rounds. So I don't know, I don't know if it's worth my time making the chart, but because of the way this is written, I feel the need to have a post-it note to mark what round I'm on. So I don't love that. I actually kind of hate that. The cowl itself is really nice, but I'm a chart girl. Give me a chart. I won't even bother reading the pattern. Currently it's in this Minnie Mouse plus a bell pin bag that I made myself. I'm probably gonna switch it out once it gets a bit larger, but that's just the bag I grabbed. And then, is that it? Yeah, that's kind of it. Everything that I'm actively working on. I bought more yarn. What's the surprise? I bought a sock yarn that I've already wound up because this is gonna be my next cast on for the summer sock camp. And this is Stitch Together Studio, her Targhee sock in the Heart Eyes colorway. I don't know. I hadn't seen like a cherry red in a very long time, and so I grabbed it because I thought it looked really nice. Plus it was Targhee, and I don't have a lot of Targhee sock. I went to a yarn festival. I bought more yarn. I grabbed some Mad Tosh mohair in the colorway Saffron to pair with something. And then I got another Stitch Together Studio Dreamy DK, which is January 2022 colorway Basic Birch. And I'm gonna make DK socks out of that. Laughing Cat Fibers, they are at a lot of yarn festivals in my area. This is the Diamond Sock yarn. It's an 80/20 merino silk. Colorway is Hand of God, so it's based off of this art print. And this glows under UV light. That's one of her signature things that she does with her yarn. So very cool, definitely gonna be socks. I grabbed a skein of Bewitched Pigments, and this is her Magic Base, which is an 80/20 superwash merino nylon, and it is in the colorway Tufted, like the bird. I love how delicate it is. And then we have another sweater quantity in Abalone, which is Fig and Posy Fiber Company. They are no longer going to be dyeing, I believe. And so all of her yarn was on sale. So I grabbed a sweater quantity, and again, I like how delicate it is. I want to knit like a cable-y sweater. Got a very simple sock set. It's like a dark gray tweed and then a neutral heels toe cuff. This is the tweed sock in Smoke and Arctic. Got another sweater quantity in just a neutral tweed yarn from Sheepish Creation. This was very economical. It was 440 yards for $17 each of them. So this will make absolutely a sweater for me that is pretty reasonable. and I could dye over it, or I could leave it white. And then another sweater quantity in the Twisted Willow, and it is antique linen and tweed jacket. Oh, so pretty. So essentially the theme was neutral colors, basically. And then the last yarn I got, I'm doing this really quickly because my friend is gonna be here any minute. The last I got is probably the most expensive thing that I got, and it is a sweater. Come on, motorcyclists. The last yarn purchase that I have is a sweater quantity of Angara DK. This is 2-ply, 200 yards, satin and German Angora merino mulberry silk from Green Leaves Angora, and I got the white colorway. This, she had samples, just swatches. They bloomed amazing. So I bought a lot to make a sweater. I don't know what kind of sweater. I'm thinking like a very simple, maybe like a textured sweater, oversized, big, maybe balloon sleeves or something, bishop sleeves, something. I have 6 skeins of it, I believe. So, you know, not a ton, but it was a lot of money. It's like $30 something for each of these. So it's a very expensive sweater, but you know, we'll see. Out of everything, this is what I really want to cast on the most next. And that is it. That is a lot of information for you, a lot of things that I've made, I feel like, and I'm still feeling the itch to keep knitting. Predictions for the next podcast, I'll have finished Sprocket Socks, finished vanilla socks, cast on, maybe finished vanilla or patterned socks. I most likely will have another DK sock done because those are super quick to knit. Definitely the Kindred Cowl will be finished, and quite a lot of work will be done on the Wonky Rib. And probably, oh, I forgot, I had a whole nother project that I finished. A baby hat right here called Free Breakfast that I knit out of leftover yarns from the Gaudy yarn and Knit Pick Stroll that I gifted to a baby in a heat wave. It's fine. They'll wear it in the winter. And that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments if you're also feeling that bug to knit. What have you been knitting? Have you been buying yarn? Like, clearly I have, like a crazy person. I will see you in my next video, which will be about books. If you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and subscribe. I love seeing the number go up. You know, just like every podcaster says, it does make us feel really good. And I love reading your comments. I love reading your comments on Instagram, and every now and then I get followers on Goodreads, which I don't promote as much, but I am very active on Goodreads. Very active. Anyway, thanks so much, guys, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Bye.